we have done over 11 plus years, we have done very, very little advertising for new staff members, like very little. And we've had a gym of well over 200 active, engaged clients since 2017. So it's not like we're just a small gym who can handle, we have a staff right now of 8 active and then 12 actually, if you include all of our subs. So it's not like we have a small staff for a gym, within this kind of professional grouping. And we've rarely had to go out and seek out Indeed ads or ZipRecruiter ads and that sort of thing to gain employees.
All right, welcome back to What's Working Now, our series where we surface and share what fitness business owners have been doing right now that is helping them grow and achieve their goals. I'm Kelly Berry, VP of Operations here at Fitness Revolution. And here at FR, we are dedicated to empowering gym owners to build profitable businesses that they are passionate about. And we do that through our coaching, our content, and our proprietary fitness business alignment system. Today, I am here with Jared Markiewicz, owner of Functional Integrated Training in Fitchburg, Wisconsin, which is right outside of Madison. Jared is a longtime coaching partner of Fitness Revolution. He is one of our high performance mastermind members, and he runs a phenomenal business. I believe you just celebrated 11 years this year. Is that right?
11 years in June of 2022. Yes. Yep.
Awesome. So thanks for taking some time to talk to us today, Jared. Tell us a little bit more about who Functional Integrated Training is, what you all do, and who you serve.
Sure. So Functional Integrated Training, obviously, we've been around since 2012. So there's been a number of evolutions over that time period. But at this point, I would say we typically promote ourselves as is a personalized performance training facility. And so we are serving people with the intent of asking them the question of, okay, you come in and you want to lose some weight, you want to get leaner, get more toned, but why? Like, why is that important to you? Because ultimately it comes down to them wanting to do or accomplish something with people they love, by themselves, whatever it might be, maybe with their kids or grandkids. And so we try to use that as their motivation, their driving factor, which ultimately I think for us has resulted in really good retention overall over the course of the last 11 plus years. I mean, we consistently are in the 97% plus percentage-wise in terms of retention, and then just having raving fans and then having an engaged coaching staff, because we're not so focused on things like objectives like weight either lifted or weight lost, or focused more on like the intangible things people love and care for. So it's easy to get excited about those things on a daily basis, and it makes it fun to come to work and fun to hear all the stories of success of people going out and doing cool things and telling us like, hey, I think you guys had a really big impact on us doing that.
Yeah, that's great. I think people just are looking for the solution to their problem, right? And a lot of times that looks different to different people. But I think if you can really figure out like what actually is the problem that they're trying to solve. And it takes a lot more than just surface level conversation, surface level questions. And I think there has to be a pretty significant amount of trust there as well between the client and coach for them to feel comfortable sharing those things, because sometimes they're pretty deep and have a lot of emotion that comes with them.
Very much
but
so.
To your point, to your point, that's the type of thing that results in really great retention and just a really great client, coach, and business fit for somebody who's looking to solve those problems. So awesome. And you all do some athlete training as well. I know you all do powerlifting.
Weightlifting.
Weightlifting. Okay.
Well, weightlifting and powerlifting. Yeah, it's a little bit of both. But yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, we have a variety. We do train some young athletes. We don't really market that very well, or very much, because it just kind of becomes a machine that builds on itself. Brothers, sisters, friends, and then we have a weightlifting team that competes. Right now, we haven't held a competition in a while. We kind of streamlined things a lot following COVID, and we haven't hosted a competition since COVID. And then we also every year do run a charity powerlifting meet for members of our gym only. So it's usually between 25 to 30 people in our gym. And realistically, I would say I can count on one hand in 11 years, people who have competed in powerlifting outside of our facility. So the vast majority of people who are just everyday people who come in again with just the simple basic goals, and we kind of promote this to them and expose them to this training, and they go, this sounds kind of fun. And then they do it and they go, that was a ton of fun. I loved it. I want to do it again. When's the next competition, right? And so, so doing it yearly just kind of builds a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. And we tend to do that in February when in Wisconsin, it's cold, it's dreary, life kind of stinks. So to give them something to be energized and excited for, it tends to help kind of get through that last little bit of doldrums before we get back into springtime.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that was a really good just description of what you all do, which I think is a good segue into what we're here to talk about today. And that is interns and running a really good internship program in the gym. And you all do that really well. So I think that's something a lot of gym owners are very interested in, or they have the idea that they want to do it, but they're not exactly sure how. So tell us a little bit about what your program looks like in your gym now that you told us a little bit more about it, and kind of how you got it started.
Yeah. So, and I think that's kind of a great pathway I want to take just in terms of explaining it is sort of like where we are now to just kind of how we got there and sort of even the things that have changed of recent, because the point you mentioned before about gaining trust. Every week, so we have interns come in every regular school year semester, so fall semester and spring semester. We take the summer off, unless we have kids that come from like other schools for like a full-on, fully immersed, semester-long 40-hour week type of thing. But the first education week we do, so every Friday we do a hour-long lecture, and we have a curriculum that we built out over the course of years, and it's just changed and evolved and gotten better and better as time's gone on. But the first lesson is all about understanding communication styles, understanding learning styles, and building trust quickly. So really actually talking exactly about that. Like if you want to be an intern and be a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old student on our training floor with adults who are 40, 50, 60, you have to gain their trust if you want that to actually, if you're going to coach them, if you're going to impart your expertise that you're gaining on them, they have to trust you. Otherwise, it's going to be just, running to a brick wall. So that's the first week of curriculum. And so we literally run a 12-week program. So every week it just builds on itself, and it goes through pretty much how we would walk somebody into our gym. We talk them through our evaluation process. We talk them through our warm up, the way that we go through and work on the kind of activation of people, core lifts, accessory lifts, really all the way through programming, advanced programming around injuries, specialized populations, all these things, so that by the time they're done with that semester, our goal has always been, whether they're coming in and they're going to go on to PT school or going to go on to be a sports med doc or wanting to have a job in our industry, even if we can't provide them with a job in our facility, we want them to leave and go somewhere else or go into their field eventually and have gained a ton of knowledge and a ton of real world experience on our training floor so that they are better able to serve the world, right? I mean, that's the idea. Like we can't change the world. We can change a few people and have them change, their network and so on and so forth, right? So that's always been the goal with what we've done. And where that's typically come from for us. So I went to school at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. My head coach, Max, went to school at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. And those two colleges, along with maybe University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, are close to us. Wisconsin-Madison is the closest to us, about 20 minutes away by car. And the other two are within 2.5 hours of our gym. That's where we've gotten the majority of our students. And it started because I went to school at UW. I went through the practicum program that UW Wisconsin-Madison provides, and got to know the practicum advisor. And I've known him now for a number of years. He actually just retired. So what really helped me was to continually engage with him. So not only was I engaging with him when we would go to the practicum meeting and talk to these new students and say, hey, here we are, we're fit, this is what we do, this is where we're located, these are the things that you need to have to work for us or to be a practicum student for us, so on and so forth. But also, by engaging with him, I got opportunities and have continued to have opportunities to speak to his students and actually do a lecture as a part of one of his courses. I do that pro bono. I don't get paid anything for that, but that's just an opportunity to get in front of kids. And honestly, we've gotten some of our best practicum students from those classes because I go and I get a chance to literally spend an hour and a half engaging with them, not just standing up here talking to them, but actively involved in the learning process. Right, I teach them the FMS, so I teach them the functional movement screen, and in the process of teaching them that, they can start to see kind of how we actually do things in the gym a little bit, and then that they come up to me afterwards and say, hey, that was awesome, I really enjoyed that. Can I talk to you sometime about maybe being a practicum student? I'm not going to have it this semester, but in a semester or 2 semesters will be the time when I'm going to get my practicum. And I said, sure, let's stay in touch. And me, you, Ronnie, I'll stay engaged so that when that comes, hey, we have 2 spots, but this one's already been claimed by the student that I met previously. So it opens a door then for us to build a relationship early on with the student and then have them be a really engaged participant versus just well, I have to take this class. There's all these sites. I'm going to choose this one and go here and hope for the best. Mm-hmm. And I can sit here and say, we've been doing this practicum program for 9+ years. We've definitely had those kids that just weren't engaged. Mm-hmm. But we've also had the kids who were really engaged. And I have, over the years, hired, I would say probably 80% of my coaching staff from the intern programs that we've had, either, again, University of Wisconsin-Madison is the one we have the most experience with. So we consistently have, I would say, 2 to 4 students from University of Wisconsin-Madison every year. Okay. But then occasionally we will have students from the University of Wisconsin lacrosse. So Max, my head coach, at lacrosse and at Whitewater, they'll do a full semester immersed, so 40 hours a week for a full semester, basically a full-time job, as opposed to taking course credits. They go somewhere and they're on site the entire time. He did 2 of those at a friend of mine's gym in the area, got done with that, and my friend said, hey, we can't hire this guy, but he's really good. Do you guys happen to need somebody? And I was like, actually, yeah, we do. And now that guy, Max, has become my head coach for 10 years now. Yeah. And really is kind of like my training manager, my coaching staff manager. So that's the kind of thing that we've gotten out of it is some really good kind of shorter-term employees over the course of time, and then people like Max and even another one, Ben Cagle, who Ben was a great employee for us and then moved to Alaska, and now he is running his own gym, and he's a coaching partner at FR also. Mm-hmm. So kind of the full circle type of thing. But that's the kind of opportunities that the internship has allowed for us over the course of time.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a few questions. So one, and I think this is one of the most important things about it is, you have to build a relationship with somebody at the school. And so you happen to be able to build that relationship because you went there, but had you not gone there, you still need to be connecting with either who's responsible for internship programs, who's responsible for the program. And I think the speaking opportunity thing is a great way to, offer some value. And it really does, I think, give a really unique perspective to the students, because I think, when they're in school, everything's just so by the book, and they don't get to see a lot of what this looks like in a gym like yours. How could they take what they learn and apply it in a way that may be very different than how they thought, or just very interesting to them? So I think that's really good. I guess that wasn't a question, but if somebody's interested, that's a big thing, is you need to be connected with somebody at the school. And then the next question is, are these internships paid?
Depends.
Okay.
We're moving a little bit closer to a paid version of an internship now. So we have a student who is a University of Wisconsin La Crosse full-time 40-hour-a-week student coming this spring semester.
Okay.
Our structure for an intern who is like, so if we hire somebody on, we kind of have a 90-day on-ramp. And the first 30 days is assumed to be not paid, or, you know, if we hire somebody on and we're going to have them like start looking for us, we're paying them pretty low wage. And then we're going to transition into like a 30 to 60-day period where it's like, it's kind of your proving ground time frame, and we're going to up the pay. In the case of a student like Dane is the kid we have coming in this spring semester, we'll start paying him then. Ultimately, we have him for a semester. We don't have a choice. And then that last period, we'll kind of move them closer to like the pay rate that they'll be at, and that'll be the time we'll sort of decide, like, is this person somebody we really want to hire or not? I can tell you that you should also check for advice for somebody who's a gym owner. You should check, because sometimes they are not allowed to get paid. Like the school makes that stipulation with University of Wisconsin-Madison, both for their master's students, we've had them as well, and undergraduate students. They're getting course credit. They are not allowed to get compensated for it. So you need to make sure you understand that part of it too, which again, it's just another opportunity to engage with somebody on the decision-making end, on the more like clerical end of things that people don't, especially in our industry, right? I mean, I feel like it's an industry that we try and be professionals, but there's a lot of people who just aren't that professional. If you make the outreach to people who are on staff, to professors, to like the liaisons for these programs, like that goes a long way, because most people aren't doing that. They're just kind of showing up and, you know, offering up what they do, and hopefully someone raises their hand and then off they go, and they never really engage with the people who are in charge. And I think that's a key piece, is make it a point to go out and engage with the people who are always going to be there, not the students who are just running through the mill year after year after year.
Yep. So tell us a little bit about, like, what are the responsibilities that you have the interns do? And then, like, how does having this pretty robust internship program, how does that affect your actual like staffing and the employees that you have at FIT?
Yeah. So the responsibilities start pretty simple. We kind of give them, so it's almost like a pre-week that we have, an onboarding week, as it were, before they get into like the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about. And that gives us a chance to kind of go, all right, so here's the layout of the gym. Here's kind of the sessions that are going to be running during the time you're going to be here. You know, we have folders for our clients, so our expectation is you go to this, you figure out who's on the list for the workouts that night, you get those folders out for us. There's towels to be folded. There are, you know, things to be kind of rearranged or organized. If things are a little chaotic, like make them look nice, here's how. And just kind of give them a rundown of all of these simple things they can do to check the boxes. We also now, so we very much are a semi-private first gym at this point. So even if someone's coming into our group training, we ideally want them to start in our we call it personal training, but semi-private, like a 1-on-5. So now those interns have basically a series of case studies. So we've got a little binder clip of 7 different case studies, pretty much just client avatars of ours, and then laminated with also like a laminated like workout sheet. So our workouts are, from a template perspective, they look the same all the time. The exercises on there are different, but the layout and the structure of it is the same. And so we printed off a blank one, and they then can take that and literally write in things with a marker and then erase them, and, you know, make them, and then provide them to us for feedback and that sort of thing. So they have lots to do if, you know, things are slow or whatever it might be, or they just have some downtime in between sessions. They can go and work on that. When training sessions are going on, right out of the gate, we want them on the floor. not coaching necessarily, and we're not also saying that by them being on the floor, that's a good enough substitute for a coach. The coach is there also. The coach remains there the entire semester with somebody, particularly somebody who we assume is going to be a student for us, and then that's going to be the end of the relationship. They're not going to then go on to be an employee of ours. Mm-hmm. Our staff is on the floor with them. Their job early on is simply to engage, to have conversations. Hey, this is who I am. This is why I'm here. Love to know why you're here. Why do you belong at F.I.T? What kept you here so long? What are your goals? What issues do you have? What injuries have you experienced? That kind of stuff. But all the things that any coach, good coach, should ask. But a lot of college kids, master's kids, like you said, going by the book, that's just stuff that they just do not understand. It's like the bedside manner type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so pretty much just throwing them into the fire and saying, hey, this is what you have to do, and we'll give you some tools. But at the end of the day, like, get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. And then as the semester goes on, and then they learn in those Friday sessions, they learn more and more pieces, and so then we give them more and more opportunities. So, okay, you've learned our dynamic warm-up. Great. Now you can teach that in this group training session. Okay, you've learned the core lift. So now I want you to start working with one person on their stuff and kind of designate somebody who we think is a good fit for them and maybe they think might be a good fit. And then that becomes their person. And so over the course of the semester, they practice writing those programs, and by halfway through or so 6 to 7 weeks in, they're starting to craft a program for one individual in our personal training sessions. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like their big final assignment, is to write that, get it revised by the primary coach for that person, rewrite it, submit it again, and then at that point have a conversation, decide, okay, is this something that we can implement right now, in a week or two, whatever the person might need a new program, and then actually have that person engage with said client and pretty much coach them almost one-on-one the last couple of weeks of that 12 weeks of that semester. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to work with the school on the curriculum that you put them through, or do you just design it and it's up to the student to basically make sure that they're fulfilling what the school is required of the internship, if that makes sense?
It does. The school has never been involved. I don't think they have the time, honestly. And realistically, I mean, if you were to look at what we're doing versus what another site is doing, like let's say UW or lacrosse, we'd be different. We probably have similar philosophies, but our clientele differs. The way we approach our training or our gym structure differs, and so that changes ultimately what we can or can't do, right? So in terms of the actual like adherence to it, I mean, at the end of the day, whether they're a master's student or an undergraduate student, they're getting a grade from us. So at the end of the semester, they're going to get a grade, A through F, theoretically, and we've given the full spectrum outside of a D. We haven't given as low as a D, but we've definitely given a low C to somebody who just wasn't engaged, and kind of wasn't really showing any enthusiasm. Really didn't see a lot of progress with said person. And so we graded them as we saw fit. And I mean, I think that sometimes kids make the assumption that, oh, just by doing this practicum site thing, I'm going to get an A because I'm just, and we set some expectations early on. Like, if you want to get an A, here's the things we need you to be doing. If you want to get a B or below, then here's the things that, are there. And if you're not showing up, then, I don't really know what to tell you. So, and I say, like, COVID has changed things. I feel like we've gotten a lot of kids now. It can be more frustrating now. We've got a lot of kids now who have said to us outright, either on a phone call or via email, yep, all right, I'm in for your semester. And then I get an email a week later, hey, another opportunity came up, so I'm not going to take that. I'm going to take something else. So we've kind of gone from being a place where you're privileged to come work with us to you are now somebody who we're trying to fight for, almost, it feels like, or like sell ourselves to. And I don't really adhere to that, honestly. I mean, I think we do a great job. We have a full practicum curriculum that most places like us don't have. They get the opportunity to both be on the floor with us, to work out with us if they want to, be trained by us, and coach. So they get a lot of exposure, a lot of experience, and a lot of value that I don't feel like I need to be selling myself to. If a student doesn't want to be at our practicum, or they think that something out there is better, then by all means take it. So,
yeah. Well, I think one of the things that you said in the beginning is something that I want to just highlight, because I think it's really important in when somebody's thinking about an internship, because I think that the spectrum of what it can mean to your facility is pretty wide. And this may kind of be what even you're alluding to is, I don't think that the way to look at it is, if this is something that you want to do in your gym, it's not like free labor. You're not getting people to come in and do the cleaning. And, what you said in the beginning is like, your goal for this program is to create an impact. You want to create somebody who is better at what they do after they leave your facility, and they can go, whether they remain as an employee or they're going on to somebody else's, like they're better for the industry than they were going to be before they came and did an internship at your gym. And I think that that's just a really great way to look at it. And the impact is just way bigger when you think of it like that. Yeah. Awesome. Any like mistakes or things you wish you knew?
I mean, it takes a lot of work, right? At the end of the day, we have spent a lot of time over the years putting effort into this. And I think that when you have the right staff, they understand the purpose of it. Because when you, and I really like what you just said, that message of like, what we're doing here is we're furthering the impact that we're making on this greater world that is, sports science or health and fitness or the overall wellness of our community and society. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And that may mean that we have 2-3 semesters in a row of students who we either can't hire because we don't need them, or like aren't going to hire because they're going on to PT school or PA school or whatever it might be. So knowing that, and knowing that you're waiting on the opportunity when it comes, but you're building the program for that purpose. And it's a lot of time taken by, like, even in between semesters, by myself, by my head coach Max, talking through what the curriculum looks like, what we need to change because of how we've philosophically changed, or just minutia changed. Even to the point of time spent. So I have, we go to the practicum live meetings regularly. We have, I've taught a number of classes and lectures for UW, again, just kind of from an exposure standpoint. So kind of the brand awareness mentality. I've went to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater to speak to the students for an entire class, kind of impromptu, to engage them. I've done the same thing I engage with the University of Wisconsin Lacrosse Kinesiology Club. They have a huge kinesiology club, and spoke to a lecture hall for about an hour or so during kind of one of their meetings. And then just spent, so the practicum advisor that was at UW retired. Julie, who is the new advisor, sent the email out, and I said, hey, I'd love to grab coffee with you and just talk and just help you understand. We've been doing this for a long time. I want to impart what I've learned over the years, and like how I'd like to keep helping. So sort of like the things that maybe weren't communicated to you in terms of what I was doing with Ronnie, the former advisor, or with just like UW in general, to make sure those things are still happening. To kind of like take it upon myself to keep the connection strong with somebody who's new, versus just being like, well, my connection's gone, screw it, I'm out. And so, and she's got some great ideas too, because she's younger. She's kind of got a little bit more of the scaling mentality, and things are changing for their program. So I think that the things I've learned is you have to devote some time to this, but understand that, we have done over 11 plus years, we have done very, very little advertising for new staff members, like very little. And we've had a gym of well over 200 active, engaged clients since 2017. So it's not like we're just a small gym who can handle, we have a staff right now of 8 active and then 11, 12 actually, if you include all of our subs. So it's not like we have a small staff for a gym, within in this kind of professional grouping. And we've rarely had to go out and seek out Indeed ads or ZipRecruiter ads and that sort of thing to gain employees, because we've tried to keep a bench full. And the way we've done that is through this Engage, right? So yes, it benefits the world. At the end of the day, it's hugely important for the long term of it. But selfishly, we don't have to spend money on a bunch of ads and sift through people who may just do exactly what we had with some of the new practicum students, like, oh, great opportunity, but something else, I'm going to go now, see you later, and just ghost you. And so having that for us has been, it just makes my life as now really kind of the owner and not necessarily the in the trenches guy a lot easier. It makes Max's job easier too. I mean, it's his job now to kind of be that person to bring somebody into our facility and make sure that they're a good fit. But it's much easier when he's already developed a relationship and had a lot of time to assess what he's seeing versus hiring and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. You're basically able to shape them from the very beginning and indoctrinate them really into your values and the way that you all communicate and all of that. And it gives you quite a long time to see if they're a good fit or not. So that's great. Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else about the program I did have one question. How do your clients like the interns? Especially since you have so many like long-term clients. I'm sure they just see them kind of come and go all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we, I akin it to UW Hospital is called a teaching hospital. So like it's well known that they're a teaching hospital, meaning they constantly have students and residents and that sort of thing. It's kind of milling around as a part of the whole process, right? I think our clients are kind of used to it similarly. And the reality is too is, I mean, with our practicum students, they need 96 hours in a semester. That equates to 2 morning or afternoon shifts a week, and then that Friday education. So they might not see somebody for 3 or 4 semesters if they happen to be on Monday and a Wednesday and the kids are coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon. Other people see them all the time. But the reality is, too, is that, my clients, they get another set of eyes on them. So I think they almost perceive it as valuable because we're not, as coaches, like stepping away and being like, hey, you guys go do this stuff. We're just going to stand back and watch now. Like the coach is still engaged, but as that coach, that student becomes more like a coach, they can step in and also catch things that maybe the other coach can't because he or she's over with somebody else, or whatever it might be. And so I think the overall perception, and I mean, we have proof of it. We have social proof of people being really like excited or happy when someone's leaving and going on to PA school. Like we just had she was a undergraduate practicum student. She graduated. She applied to PA school multiple times while she was working for us. Didn't get in. Started to do some other jobs to kind of like build her resume, and just left for PA school finally. But like, it's a big deal, and a lot of people care about her now because she's gone through this whole like progression with us, and she was never like a super full-time employee of ours. It was always a part-time thing. So, so I think our clients in general look at that as a value add, as opposed to like distracting from what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah. I can see that as a value add, and also just in general, like feeling really good about their involvement with FIT because of your all's commitment to the profession in general. And I think that's really valuable as well.
Yeah. Well, great. I think it even to some degree helps our clients. Our clients feel like, okay, well, if these people are here and they're going to go on and be PTs and PAs, and maybe I can have more trust in going to these people, where in the past they felt like that's why they're with us sometimes, is they've gotten this poor level of care from these different medical professions. And like, I'm lost. I have nowhere else to go. Where do I go? And they come to us and they find solutions. So if we can be like, hey, we're building, we're grooming some of those. They're coming. They're not here yet. They're coming. That gives them some hope too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point too. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today. That was great. Very valuable. Y'all are doing some really cool stuff there. So congrats.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Built a really, really good team. So
Thank you.
All things to be proud of.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing too, like I'm happy to engage. Like if people want to get a hold of me, they can call, email. I'm on Instagram, Coach J Mark. So any outlet, I mean, like I'll happily, because again, if I can help some other business owners get off the ground with stuff like this, even provide them. I mean, my mastermind group, I provided my curriculum more than one time to them to use as a template for themselves. I have no problem sharing that kind of stuff because I feel like that's so valuable to push that impact. Because if more gym businesses get involved in this, they're impacting more people. I mean, that's just exponentially growing the whole thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for suggesting that. I think that's amazing too. So
yeah.
Great. We'll be sure to include all of your how to get a hold of Jared
Cool.
with this as well. So
great.
Good deal. Well, thank you so much. And we will talk to you again soon.